Okay, I got the format correct this time. I don't want any more complaints.
Yeah, make sure it stays correct.
Well, I got the complaint. How am I gonna watch this video? I have to lie on my side. I said, well, I was gonna say tilt the TV.
Okay, because I've already ridden her and she's lunged already, you can pick up a trot on the circle. So you mentioned earlier that bend around the inside leg and the avoidance of that and her rather going sideways and away from it. Be sure that,
She's worked up.
yeah, but it comes in even here. I mean, a little bit here. If she's a little bit anxious through this bottom part of the circle, she wants to drift a little bit. But through all of that, what's got to come into play is your outside boundary. Okay, outside rein, outside leg. Although you're asking, excuse me, that inside bend, the boundary needs to be there to stop her going to the outside.
Okay. And I did do boundary work the other day because I feel like I haven't been concentrating on my boundary.
Okay,
And I did have I think maybe that was also why I had a good ride because I set myself up to do those.
good, good. So really work on that now. Just work on your boundaries, and riding a little bit straighter on your circle is what's going to do that. Just bringing in the bend every now and again, but riding a little bit straighter on the circle. Good. Don't lean forward. When you drive her forward like that, she's sucking back around the bottom end of that circle there. Make sure you're sitting up and driving her forward from an up position. Don't tip forward and try and push her on. Coming up now, up tall. Okay, take her down the long side this time. And about halfway down, a little half circle reverse to the center line and back in the other direction. To the middle. Back towards us.
Oh, my thing is
Okay. Not a bad thing if you can't hear me.
What were you cussing about me?
I said it's not a bad thing if you can't hear me.
So the outside boundary, because I'm putting it on, she thinks I'm saying counter.
Exactly. So that's one of the misconceptions also, you see. So this is where this needs to be solidified and a clear understanding of this trot work. And why we build the trot work as a solid foundation is 80% of our work is done in the trot.
Yeah.
So that's what needs to be solid. The walk and the canter either side of the trot is the remaining 20% of the work. Unless you are big time jumping, then you're focusing on your canter work and you leave a lot of the trot work out of it. But at this level, trot work is 80% of your work and the canter is just a small portion, as is your walk. Good. Keep her in the bridle. Be careful you don't touch her with that whip on her butt when you come around like that. Good. No, keep her on, keep her. So if you need that bend there, because there she was confused with that boundary then thinking you were going to the right.
Oh, okay.
So keep a feel on that inside hand, keep it coming round, but keep it firm in the outside hand. That's better, that's better, that's better, good. And perhaps next time when you get into that same predicament, use less of the hand and use a bit more outside leg rather than just the hand. Good. Okay, at the top on the center line here, come back to walk. Let her walk on a long rein for a little bit. It's really gorgeous.
This type of weather is great. It's because we've had so much rain, and just some good things are coming our way now.
So she needs to realize, obviously, that if I want her to canter, I'm going to slide my leg back.
Good.
Not
That's
put
that-
pressure on her.
That's the differentiating factor. She needs to know the outside legs comes back to go to canter, and pressure on her side is not going to canter. It's leg back and pressure on. And that's why I say also when you come to rein back, your leg needs to come back on both sides with pressure on. So it's different from asking the horse to walk forward. Those are your defining factors in getting the correct result at the end of it with the training.
Yeah.
You can always get a horse to walk backwards with your leg in the same place and just haul on their mouth. It's not correct.
No.
Okay, it shouldn't be a haul on the mouth. All you're doing in your hand is saying don't take a step forward. But the different leg position is what's asking her to step backwards. Okay, pick up your rein and let's pick up that trot again. Right, around the trot poles I want a 10-meter circle. Good. Back to your 20-meter circle. Off the fence there, I want a 10-meter circle, starting now. Go back to your 20-meter circle. On the center line at the bottom, starting now, 10-meter circle. Good. And go larger and starting right here in front of me, right now, 10-meter circle. So that in itself just reinforces the inside bend a little bit. Okay, now go back to your 20-meter circle. Good. That was better there.
Yeah.
Okay, take a large down the long side. Halfway down the half 10-meter circle to the center line and back on your short diagonal to change the rein. Could have had a little bit more inside bend through that turn coming through there. Good. Right, at the bottom, starting on the center line there, first 10-meter circle to the right. Think about the evenness that you had the other way, and you're comparing these 10-meter circles to the other side. Right, 20-meter circle, and start a 10-meter circle now. Need a little bit more boundary on the outside here. Right, 10-meter circle coming up, starting now, round the poles. And right just past me and start your 10-meter circle to finish over here. Right now. Good job. Those circles improve with every circle. Okay, back to your 20-meter circle. Right, take your trot large all the way around and come back across the diagonal towards me. When you pick up your diagonal, ride a straight line towards me. Right, look back at me, pick up your line, and ride the straight line. Not bad. Not bad. Good. Inside bend, back to your 20-meter circle. Okay, and go large this way around. Down the long side, around the bottom, and back across your diagonal once more in the other direction. Need to work on that straight line down that side.
Tell you what.
Good, and into your 20-meter circle. And on the center line, come back to walk. There's a little walk there. Good. Long rein, get a walk on a long rein.
I'm gonna start watching you close. I'm gonna start riding this lucky horse.
Might as well.
Huh?
Might as well.
Well, I'm gonna. I'll put a Western saddle on him and get him up there. Just to get him out.
Do any of you gents know anybody who has beehives and wanting to sell? Beehives.
Go to
Go to
Milner.
the bee house. On
Okay.
178.
Yeah.
They've got a great big house, all dedicated to bees. It's all
Yeah.
about bees. They sell bees. They sell queens.
Yeah.
Right on 176 in Cloverdale there.
Yeah.
It's on the right-hand side as you're going
On
towards the highway.
On Highway 15?
Right on the right side.
It's about 88th and 176
Yes.
on the corner there.
Yes, it's right there, the bee house. You want to know about bees? They sell bees there. I took Blitz and the girls there for IT. But yeah, they sell queens there.
How much are the queens?
I can't remember.
Oh, that's okay.
I think they're about it's $15 or $20 for a queen with a small collection on a
Well,
frame.
Milner Place was selling whole like beehives with the
Oh yeah, yeah, those bees.
those little residential ones.
Yeah, I know the bees are
You
gone.
know, if you want to get your plants for your flowers fertilized and your apple trees and whatever else you need to
Yeah,
get.
no, I'm
fertilized.
looking at just starting a couple of beehives and then see how it goes for this season, and then look at expanding it a couple of hives every year.
So what's your objection? I'm not objection. Your
Objective,
objective there?
just to produce honey and maybe a little bit of a commercial side in a couple of years' time.
Oh, okay. You got the space for it, right?
Well, I've got the 60 acres there, and I've asked them I can keep the hives there.
There you go.
I can send them up country to my father-in-law and to the orchards up in Okanagan.
Nice.
Sure, you've got to make contracts with people, but that can happen, and then winter them down here.
So for about 3 years, I cut a property in Richmond for Alice and a Chinese lady, and she runs the whole outfit, and I cut the perimeter for them every year, blackberries.
Yeah.
And when I went out there last year, I looked in her field. She, in the year and a half, Minnie, come here. Come on. Get out. Minnie, out. Come on. Come here. Come on. Come here. Come here. Get out. Good girl. Anyway, she was growing blackberries.
Yeah.
I said, "Oh, what's that?" You know, she goes, "Yeah, blackberries." Anyway, thorns. So she'd run about 14 rows of blackberries. the end of every one she had a beehive. And so she took me down and showed me the whole lot, and they were quite tame. Don't move around fast. They were just zipping right by my head, going right in the hive.
Well, the
Very domestic. I thought.
the
well,
North
what a-
American honeybee is not an aggressive bee. It's not like
could
the
pick up your
African
trot.
honeybee.
You don't mind? Pick up your trot. Well,
Yeah.
he's on bee.
I never
He's
heard
on
that.
he's on a beer mode. Bee mode.
I never heard that.
You can do bee. Okay, just pick up the trot. Say,
There you go.
"Boss said so."
Whatever he said.
The Dutch Godfather.
Anyway, it was quite wonderful hanging out with the bees
Yeah,
and being part of their family.
yeah. One more circle. Slow your trot down and come down.
Oh boy.
Slow it right down. Slow it
So one of my neighbors complained that Atlas was barking a lot.
Really?
He called me. Well, he doesn't care. And these people right next to me, they have these Shih Tzus. Whenever they let them out, they come to the fence and they do this. They antagonize Atlas.
Yeah.
So I just said, fuck it, Atlas, you can do whatever you want. So now I'm not there. He seems to take over more so by the way of barking and stuff. So
Right.
he says, well, your next door neighbor's sitting outside the backyard, and he's barking a lot. Okay, so you know what? I trust him. So I said, well, can you go just walk over and just put Atlas in the house off the pool decks, which he's going to do. Here's a nice trot.
That's a big trot.
Those are the neighbors that built that China wall, which is totally illegal.
You know, it's funny. Mindy
I just want to
is
practice
becoming
that's
more
what I'm
independent
wanting
every
to do,
day,
lateral
like
workout,
a terrier.
okay?
So when I go home tonight
Just practicing that without the
from
lateral
her
workout.
walk out in the forest with Ken,
Yep.
she doesn't come in the house. She wants out on her pin. She'll sit out in the yard in the fucking dark. And I'll be in the house with the computer and all over once I'll put the flashlight out. She'll be out there in her pen, just sitting on an old coat I give her in the dark. Doesn't want to be in the house.
North, south,
Spends a
north,
lot of
south.
time out on the pen, just sitting on the coat. Never barks, never says a word. The woman said to me yesterday, she goes, "He's the quietest dog. She sits out on that coat." And look at her, look at her with that mare. She's laying right
Yeah, I
in
can see that.
and letting that mare put her nose in, just going, "You can't come through here," like, you know, they're cheeky, right?
Yeah, they know.
Oh yeah,
She
they
knows
just know.
her limits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, they're interacting with her.
Once more at the bottom of the circle, sitting trot, and change your range through the circle once more. Sitting trot. Good, tight the bend.
Across the town, so I found it.
So you have to what?
So when I go home, I want to go watch the highlights of the clown show.
Oh, what time is it on today?
Well, CNN pulls it apart all day long. You know what I mean?
I know, but they usually go live.
It's already been on.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. It's been raving on for the last hour.
Well, I'm out with the dogs.
Yeah.
I didn't even report it. That's okay. I'll catch the highlights later.
Oh yeah, CNN does a good job of pulling it
And what
all
they
apart.
do is, I like about CNN, they have some very excellent staff and journalists. They take whatever he says, they decipher it, and then they get that fact checker guy.
Yeah.
He's great.
Oh yeah, no.
And they'll just rip him apart again.
Well, you know who gave him a big endorsement last night publicly for Joe Biden?
Who?
Um,
Obama?
No.
What is he?
George Conway,
Oh really?
Kellyanne Conway's husband.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, gave him a bunch of money. Goes, he's the boss, he's the man.
That's like, you know.
And so I'm going, how the
How
fuck
does
you,
that fucking marriage
how
last?
do you fuck her?
Yeah.
Holy shit, I'd be like, bang, bang.
I put a. I shouldn't say because I'm
Oh
recording.
yeah.
Try and keep that slow and
Oh, I
keep
shouldn't.
that
Come on,
slow.
now,
Right, straighten out, walk the half
Okay.
circle. Back
Write down on these things.
Yeah, I just can't see how that marriage,
For adults.
how that, well, she was asked that question, her marriage, like the difference, their political differences.
Look at this. Look
She
at
says,
this
we don't we don't discuss politics at home, she
I
said.
guess not on the.
Hey, hey.
Oh, no kidding.
Well, she's a what I call a spinotologist.
Oh,
She's
she
very
is the
good at
gray
it.
fog, man.
She is very good at it.
She's like throwing opium.
Yeah,
at him,
exactly.
like,
That's right.
you know, sprinkle the fairy dust.
Yeah, exactly. The sprinkler dust. Holy fuck.
Well, Herb Gray. Do you remember Herb Gray? He deputy
Yeah,
prime minister. Well, Herb Gray. They used to call him. He was a great guy. He was the most conservative. He always wore bow ties, had a crew cut, had the biggest rock and roll collection in Canada. Famous. Google it up. And, but they called him the Gray Fog because. Somebody would ask Trudeau a question, and Trudeau would defer to the deputy prime minister, Herb Gray, and Herb Gray would get up and talk forever. And they called him the Gray Fog.
Oh, of course, yes, yes, yes.
And he sounded really intelligent. And after he's finished, you're going, what the? Well, it was an art form.
Yeah.
But he lived in Windsor, and I knew Herb well. And one day I was at the 7-Eleven on the payphone, and he pulled up in his blue sedan, and he's going to the airport to go to Ottawa. You know, it's just like 40-minute fucking hump from Windsor. And so the chauffeur drives him up, and he gets out. He's going to walk in the 7-Eleven, and he stops at my car, and the windows are right down, and my two Jack Russells are there, and they're both on the thing, and he's patting. And I'm on the phone, and it's Herb Gray. So I hung up the phone, I finished my call, and I went, "Hey, kid, get away from those dogs." And he looks up and then he starts laughing because he knows me, you know, kind of thing from the Ottawa. Hey kid, get away from those dogs. Oh yeah, dogs fucking good.
That's funny. You know a lot of people.
Oh, I did know a lot of people, absolutely. Well, you got to remember, I was 1992. I was a federal candidate for the New Democrats.
Yes, I know that. Yes, I know. Yeah.
Guess who I was? Guess who one of the people I was running against? Herb
Herb
Gray.
Gray.
So Herb and I spent a lot of time together debating.
Well, that's good. As long as you can end it up with a handshake.
Oh God, we were the last time I was a guest speaker in Ontario.
Yep.
The three guests were Herb Gray, Mike Darnell, and John, what's his name, the Minister of Education in Ontario.
Yeah.
And we were it was a big Liberal Party function, and municipal, 500 people annual dinner kind of thing, and so we were invited to speak at this thing. No, Herb was he was a different Liberal. Dean Whalen, Herb Gray, Justin's grandfather,
Yep.
Sinclair.
He's dead now, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Romeo LeBlanc. Like, these were all very honorable people.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be happy if they were all around now.
Yeah.
They understood. Even Joe Clark, he got it in a way that these idiots don't.
Yeah.
Like, he understood Canada, and he knows what's important, with the law, with respect for law and things like that. That's why they hate his guts in the modern Conservative Party, right? Like Harper and these scum.
Oh yeah. No kidding.
Canadian Trumpists, right?
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. Exactly.
And look what a screw up there is. Look at their election race right now. Trying to find a leader. Because they know they can't have a leader who's anti-choice.
Yes. I understand that.
But the party's coming apart at the seams because it's just tearing the religious wing to pieces, right? So the evangelicals are saying, we're not going to support a candidate that doesn't advocate for getting rid of choice. And the conservative pragmatists are going, you want to lose for the next 40 years, you idiot? You're in Canada.
They're all fucking Pharisees. That's what they
Exactly.
are. They're all fucking Pharisees. All they do is they want your money.
Yep. And they want your political
And
allegiance.
the political, yeah, that's exactly right.
So that they can continue the
their
status
fucking
quo.
rhetoric.
Continue the
Bullshit.
status quo. Continue the fucking inequity.
Yeah.
Continue the injustice.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
Yeah. and those cocksuckers think they're going to go to a nice heaven.
Well, Mark Twain always made that point perfectly, because remember, Mark Twain was alive in slavery, like during the war and everything, right? So Mark Twain, he made that incredible observation that he said on Sundays here in the Deep South kind of thing, the black slave would drive the white guy to their white church, and then all the white people go in the church and pray that they can all be in heaven with all the black folks. Which he, of course, laughing in his head, like, of course, that's not what's happening. But the way Twain turned it on his head, he's going, we're in there praying to God so we can all be in heaven. And he's making light of the fact that these white people think that heaven's going to be white, and they forget about the people that roam the church, right? Like the way he
I know just the way he put it.
It's just the way I love Mark Twain. I mean, he's one of the great geniuses.
Oh, he is. There's some, he's one of the best.
I mean, he wrote a book, he wrote a story once about why he didn't buy travel insurance. Well, by the end of the story, I'm on the fucking floor. Now, how could that be interesting to anybody? But I'm telling you, Twain was a genius. Now, of course, I read all his books when I was a kid, and Tom Sawyer and all this stuff, and Jim, and
no kidding. Yep.
But another genius who I revere, kind of thing, is Mark Twain. There's been some great Americans that I do really enjoy.
There's some good people all around, even in
Abraham
Canada.
Lincoln, obviously, is
obviously,
another guy that I revere. I read him every week. I'll turn to Sayings of Abraham Lincoln, because his mind was so liquid.
Yeah.
His classic was, he's going to get on a horse one day, because he rode horses everywhere, kind of thing. And even when he was president solo, he had to get on the ceremonial fucking thing. And before he got on the horse started acting up, and the horse picked up his back leg and struck, and it got stuck in the stirrup. And Abraham Lincoln standing there, and he got the horse fucking settled down, and Abraham Lincoln, who was a big, tall guy, and he didn't apparently,
He's a blanket fellow,
and he didn't talk real fast. And he went, and he said to the horse, "Look, if you want to get on," he said, "I'll get on someone else." You want to get on? But the stuff he says about humanity and how people's minds should work and thing is just incredible. Like, he was talking about education, and it's just how important it is and how it makes civilized people out of us and stuff like that. But of course, Lincoln was a well-educated man, even though he was a country lawyer. This guy had read every fat book with no pictures in history, and so he understood what Plato said 2,400 years ago. Only the educated are free.
Yeah, it's too bad not more people listen to Plato, his readings and his teachings.
Well,
it's.
I'll tell you, one of the most brilliant people.
It's so relevant to this day and age.
One of the most brilliant men in our history was Pericles, mayor of Athens. 13 years, he's elected every year. He's elected every year to be the mayor of Athens. Now, this guy is a guy with a big fucking brain, and we have a million speeches of his and that kind of thing. And so they have Remembrance Day like we do, because they had Remembrance Day of everybody who got killed fighting the Spartans.
Yeah.
The Athenians against the Spartans.
Yeah.
So he's at Memorial Day, and Herodotus, who's a general and also one of our first historians, he's at the speech, and he records the speech that Pericles gives. And Pericles, again, it's called the funeral oration. Google it up. He sits down and he lays out. I'm going to paraphrase him, because he speaks in a whole different way. I mean, but he goes, we're here to commemorate all these dead people. And my job's a hard one, because if I speak glowingly about them, the people in the audience who don't know them think I might be, overdoing it a little bit, kind of thing. And for people who revere them, I'm not giving them enough acclaim, kind of thing. And he starts to, because he understands the psychology of people. And you can see why he's the elected head of Athens for 13 years in a row till he dies of the plague. And but he says, so let's put all that subjective stuff aside. He said, let's talk about what they died for. And then he starts talking about Athens. He starts talking about academic freedom, the freedom to think, the responsibility to educate yourself about what's going on around you, and the people that don't know what's going on around them and that are just idiots, are not idiots, because there was no word idiot.
No.
He would describe them as idiote. In Greek, it meant unattached to anything. And it's from that speech that we get the word idiot. You're an idiot.
Yeah, well, most of the words nowadays they're all derived from the Greek.
But he sits down and he says.